Well, hello and good afternoon. Thank you so much for tuning in to my session today. As you can see from the title, I will be discussing a topic I find super interesting, and that is how adopting the cultural and technological shifts seen in DevOps can help cloud security professionals and IT teams successfully implement a security strategy in the cloud. I currently work in cloud security, so I'm able to see these ups and downs firsthand and really take part in helping shift the security culture in a way that hasn't been done before. Now, there's a major concern with organizations across the board who agree that current security capabilities and strategies are lagging behind cloud adoption. And my goal today is to invoke critical thought when it comes to being a cloud security professional and how we can evolve as a community. On our agenda today, I will be introducing myself a little bit with some fun facts. Then I will be demystifying cloud security by clearing up some myths. I will explain really quickly about the difference between traditional and security in the cloud. And then we'll dive into why a cloud-focused strategy is important. I have some research and statistics for you, and then we will deep dive into what's called the shift left mindset that's seen from DevOps to DevSecOps and what that really means for cloud security. And then we'll tie this up in a bow where I can give you some tidbits for you to take back to empower your own security teams. So some quick fun facts about me. Again, my name is Dominique. I'm currently a cloud security consultant for Ernst & Young, a multinational consultant firm. I call myself a factory-made security professional as I took this traditional route in comparison to a lot of people today who are pivoting from different fields. I got my undergraduate degree in computer information systems and then a graduate degree in cybersecurity. I am the founder of Security in Color, a weekly cybersecurity podcast covering cybersecurity news and cloud security topics. I love to travel. I'm an avid BTS fan, and if I'm not binging or podcasting or watching all that stuff, I love to read and play video games. So let's dive into the talk today. We will begin our journey to building a cloud security strategy by first demystifying some common misconceptions that usually occur when it comes to cloud computing and cloud security. So the 5 topics I present here, they're not all encompassing, but they are the most common in a lot of questions I've received in various situations when it comes to cloud computing. So myths such as, the cloud is unsafe, or my cloud security provider automatically will keep me secure because, they're Google, they're Microsoft. There's no way I can have a breach there. Or, my team, I need a new team in order to do this. The current team I have is not capable. All those kinds of things and more that really happen. And that happens when there's not a full understanding of the cloud. And it's pretty fair. For a very long time, and still to this day, the cloud was seen as like this amorphous place. It's a place, a technology without clear definition. There was no shape or standards. Not a lot of frameworks for people to go off of, especially in the context of security. And when used properly, the cloud is safer than a typical data center. Majority of the issues occur in the cloud. They come from poor security best practices. And when you have complicated controls and rush technology programs, that more often than not leads to something happening. And the shared responsibility model, which is a framework I will get into and visualize for you in a couple of slides, is a great starting point for all cloud security professionals and teams to really understand when things are confused about security and they don't know security of or in the cloud. Many businesses, they deploy into the cloud with the same on-premise mindset, thinking that's enough to cover both of their environments. And unfortunately, the problem with this strategy is that many organizations don't understand their role and responsibility in the cloud, or how compliance and securing data in the cloud actually works. And with the acceleration of the market ever increasing, we know how fast it is that everyone's trying to go to market or produce something out, security gaps are continuing to happen. So just to give a better visual of the shared responsibility model I just alluded to, this model really shows the delineation of responsibility between a business and the cloud service provider. So customers, meaning the business or you as a user, your security teams, your business teams, whoever it is that's in the cloud, you are responsible for security in a given cloud environment. So what this means to the customer is that you configure things like your firewalls. You are the one responsible for protecting your customer data, things like PII, PHI, things that we don't want to get out there. You have to deal with application security, identity and access management, things like encryption. There's a lot of configuration that comes with being in the cloud that a lot of teams don't know off the bat, especially if you don't know which kind of deployment you're going to go with. And the CSP, or the cloud service provider, they take care of security of the cloud. So they deal with making sure like things like regions, which you deploy into, which like North American region, the Asian region, things like that. They make sure that those regions are durable, available, and secure for you, the user, to use. And they also deal with security of storage, networking, things that like at the edge, there's edge technology. There's plenty of in-depth white papers that I always recommend for people to go to as a starting point in order to really understand this shared responsibility model. Now that we've clarified some misconceptions, let's jump into understanding why knowing how to create a strategy as a security professional is important and why on-premise one you had doesn't really apply here. The public cloud is no longer a what if for organizations. Cloud adoption is now pioneering literally everything. It's the next wave of technology evolution. 65% of enterprises are currently relying on public cloud. They're spending it's estimated to be spent about $354 billion within the next 2 years. And as we all know by now, getting to the cloud is not a small task. It's a really major feat, and it costs a lot of money. Research shows that for every $1 you spend in innovation, you will spend another 7 on execution. And the reason for this really is because traditional data centers are not modernized for cloud adoption. And it really forces a business to invest in new technology and to train their teams on how to operate these new systems. The impact of cloud adoption affects the entire organization, not just IT and security teams anymore. So what this means is that operation teams are involved, marketing is involved, HR, any team that will be a part of the cloud ecosystem or the cloud environment, they're all now part of that equation. And all of your existing processes and controls should be a fundamental part of this shift. And a really important question that I implore cloud security professionals as you're coming into it, and you're getting to learn your own career and you're trying to figure out how do I help a company migrate, you need to ask, well, what is my underlying motivation for moving to the cloud? Is my business looking to do a major hardware shift? Are we doing a software shift? Is it caused by a new regulation like PCI, GDPR, the California Protections Act? Whatever that is, the knowledge of that is really important to have so you can begin a path of success to the cloud. Otherwise, you'll end up wasting a lot of money and you look like Dave Chappelle here. We want to make sure everyone is maximizing their money when moving to the cloud. So in cloud adoption, there are some stages that are pretty much understood during this journey, the names of which of each model may differ. There are some models that have 4 steps instead of 5. There are some that include even less or a little bit more, but for the most part, they might be called different. Like Get Moving was also called kind of like migration. So there's a different names for each one, but I wanted to highlight an overview of these steps for 2 reasons. One, to introduce what the cloud journey looks like for those of you who might not be familiar, but 2, and really my main reason for you, is to understand the current state of where the security teams are brought into the pipeline of migrating to the cloud and why security challenges continue to occur. It is here after the migration stage and before the optimization stage that organizations really start to assess their security posture. And then they start to ask questions like, is the application I'm deploying, is it secure? Have we taken care of all the vulnerabilities? Do we have the right tools in place to monitor? Have I done my due diligence? And it really is here in the beginning of gap analysis before you even get started deploying anything. When you just start thinking about you're going to the cloud, it is here that these questions should be asked and your security team should be brought in. And this continuous mindset of really bolting security on into the cloud is why security challenges continue to be faced. According to a cloud security survey by ICC Squared, last year, 93% of surveyed security professionals say they are moderately to extremely concerned about cloud security. And this uptick is, an uptick from 90% seen just in 2018. And it really speaks to the increased threat landscape that security professionals and organizations are experiencing with cloud adoption. And this really just underscores that if there's such a complexity being brought to organizations, there really is a need to have a shift in strategy, technology, and culture in cloud security in order to mitigate these things. And as cloud maturation increases, businesses are really beginning to recognize the significant impact that management decisions about cloud security strategies and implementations can have. And the design of cloud native features are way different than what you'll see on premise. And not having a strategy is increasingly opening organizations to more risk than they bargained for. And continuing to roll out will just, again, waste money, like I said before, and really just continue to have the challenges here. So let's dive into what it means to really shift left, and what shift left is, like this cultural mindset that I really want to allude to in the development pipeline, and how applying that culture to cloud security can help solve a lot of these challenges that I alluded to before, and some that you might have encountered in the first place. So if you're a security professional or part of a developer team, or you might already be familiar with the term shift left or DevSecOps terminology. And if not, a shift left simply means that security, so security teams or security as a process, is built into this pipeline and designed early in the stage instead of where it has historically been, as I alluded to before with the bolt-on security, is that it comes really later on when it's a little bit too late. And when it's far too late and little time to get to the deployment stage, people are left scrambling about what should I do. So this shift left mindset is usually in reference to the software development lifecycle. The goal is to really increase quality, reduce the amount of time required for testing, and most importantly, really mitigate the security risk to make sure things are less expensive. Now, there are a ton of ways in which DevSecOps is explained and pictured, but they all tell really the same story. It's really merging development, operations, and security together in order to promote fast development of a secure code base. So as I stated earlier in highlighting security challenges faced in the cloud, an overwhelming number of businesses are in a various stage of cloud adoption. Thankfully, with this DevSecOps methodology, a lot of what you can see here, if implemented correctly, can really answer a lot of these unknown questions and break the regular trend of having security as a separate process. Many organizations, from startups to Fortune 500s, still have this bolt-on security mentality. And without breaking this really counterproductive norm that plagued our industry for so long, as security professionals, we will always be playing catch up during this technological evolution, and IT teams will always be in a reactive state rather than a proactive state, which is really what we want to get to. DevSecOps calls for security integration at all stages, and the following are 6 factors in DevSecOps that can really aid in successfully implementing security in a cloud environment. And this really acts like building blocks to creating a strategy in the cloud. By embracing public cloud and shifting left with DevOps and security, organizations can see significant benefits, things like cost savings, risk reduction, and when done successfully, businesses can tangibly see rapid acceleration in the way they're able to really remediate vulnerabilities and significantly increase their security at the same time. Now, DevSecOps only works if organizations are willing to give their teams the resources and tools to be successful. So things like security teams needing to adapt to other teams, that's really important. And I know a little bit blasphemous as security professionals because we always think, hey, it's either my way or the highway kind of mentality, which is something that we should definitely improve on in order to collaborate with other teams. Then we have things like automation. That's something that's up and coming. Automation really is the key to being successful, because it's the human problem. We have errors, we're prone to errors, we get thousands, millions of logs and signals every day. Automation really helps with that. We want to make sure that we're training our teams and empowering our current security teams. And then we want to make sure to have a great, like a security champion, someone who can be a part of another team with your security team and really talk and collaborate and let each other understand, well, here's my blockers, here's my barriers, here's why I'm doing things that I'm doing. So some key takeaways from this presentation. DevSecOps, I know this is a really, really quick highlight overview, but I just want to, what was important to me is get the conversation started about the cultural shift that's happening in cloud security and how DevSecOps can play a part into that. It's really about integrating teams, pooling resources together, leveraging the skills we already have, and really understanding that we all have a common goal and we have common perspectives. So if you're not transforming your current security teams, you're really losing out. If you're holding on to your existing security capabilities and mindset in the cloud, more than likely something's going to happen with your team. The shift to DevSecOps is more than technology. It's really about a cultural shift. It's really about bringing teams together and really understanding how can we make sure that we are leveraging our best resources and skills and attacking the threat landscape as best as possible. You're going to have some bumps along the way, but you're going to have to iterate a lot. It might be annoying, but trust me, it is well worth it when it's done right and you see how much you can take advantage of the cloud and really change your culture and your business. So thank you so much for that. I know that was really, really, really quickly. Oh, that's not a good scream. You can find me on social media at DamiBoo. My website is called securityincolor.com. That's where I have a longer version of this talk if you're really interested. You can find me on LinkedIn or social media. I'm really passionate about this subject. If you want to talk to about me, please follow me or go ahead and please contact me. You can see the longer version. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your sessions. Do I have a lot of time left to answer one question? Thank you so much. Okay, I will put it in the chat for you. And I think you can click my profile and get stuff, but I'm not too sure. I don't say. And then the podcast is on every platform. It's on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, all that kind of good stuff. That's where I talk a lot about cybersecurity news that's happening every day. I give you the top 5 cybersecurity. And then if you're interested in cloud security, I break down a lot of topics every Thursday as well. Thank you so much, everybody.